Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very pleasant day I bid to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Apa khabar semua? Today is a little bit different because usually I'll be sitting in front of the camera and record myself and post the video to share things that I think need to be shared with all of you. But today, what we are going to do is that we are going to have Medini virtual forum. Just to let you know, this was actually an individual program, but when I think it back, I think it is better for me to share the information with all of the students and make a collaboration with the student voice group of SMK Medini. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my co-moderator for today, who is one of my SVG. I would like to welcome Miss Nurhana binti Ria.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Sir Fikri for letting me and giving me a chance to experience this virtual forum.
All right, so Hana Riyad, what are we going to do today?
Today, we will have two panelists, and they will be talking about their scholarship journey, so they can help us on how to apply for the scholarship and the process and everything that you guys need to know.
Yeah. Okay. So for your information, SMK Medini was established. SMK Medini was established in 2014. So far we only have if I'm not mistaken, 4 SPM batches up to this date. Okay, and what I want to do is, it is my intention to initiate something that, hold on a second, there is a technical problem. Okay, it is my intention actually to initiate something that would change my students' mindset, in which I would like them to target for the to apply for the scholarship once they have finished their SPM, and just to let you know that so far we only have one student from SMK Medini who received scholarship from, if I'm not mistaken, JPA, and he is now doing his dentistry. All right. So before we go further, Hana, can you please tell us a little bit about Student Voice Group of SMK Medini?
In my opinion, Student Voice Group is this group of students where we listen to other students' voice, and then we will use their voice to create a program. So we would help them to have easier school days, and we would use those programs and we would consider it with the bigger person.
So what is so special about SVG, SMK Medini?
In my opinion, it's special because we are helping. We are the medium for the students and the teachers, and we help students to create programs and everything that they need.
Yep. You remind me of what our pengetua said. Two days ago, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, she said that almost 70% of the program. Hold on, Hold on. Okay. She said that, I just quote for her, almost 70% of the school programs are run by the student voice group. I mean the students, and led by student voice group. Okay, and we the teachers will assist them so that they will be able to, to equip themselves with soft skill that they need when they proceed to their tertiary education. So that is why I believe that this program today is very important, in which, Hana, please tell us the objective of the program.
Okay, the objective of the program is that we want students, we want to train students to be more disciplined, and um, we want to increase and their motivations and confidence for the future.
Exactly, in which we want them to, to go further, to target for the scholarships that we have. Basically, from what I know, many of us misunderstood when we talk about scholarship, because when we talk about scholarship, people would always think about what we call courses like engineering, doctor, but that is actually wrong, because we have a lot of companies out there that offer scholarship to various fields. I have friends who receive scholarship from Mara, doing automotive in Germany. I have also friends who receive scholarship from Petronas doing IT. And then we are very lucky today because we have a panelist who received scholarship from UEM, and she is now in PR. She's doing she's doing PR, and a lot more what do you call, a lot more fields that they can venture into. So this is actually why we set up this program for our kids, for our students, so that they know, so that they know the opportunities that they have once they finish their SPM. So Hannah, how many panelists do we have today?
We have two panelists today. The first panelist is hold on.
Again, how many panelists do we have today?
We have two panelists.
So the two panelists, who are they? Hanif and
Miss Elena and Sir Anif.
Miss Elena and Mr. Hanif. So these two distinguished speakers are chosen by us. Hannah, not yet. Okay, these two panelists are chosen by us um, for certain reasons, because they are, I would say, they are successful in their respective fields, and I believe that they have a lot of stories that they would like to share with us. Okay, so basically we have rules and regulation for this session, in which I would like to share with all of you. Okay, so let me share the rules and regulation of the session of the forum for today. Number one, this program will be live streamed via my YouTube channel, Figadot, as this is the collaboration between SVG SMK Medini and me. And then panelists and moderators are advised to go online. They are actually ready. We are still waiting for one more, and then one of them are ready. One of them is ready here, and then we are not going to criticize the government of Malaysia and the Ministry of Education or any related organization. Doesn't matter if it's governmental or private. But however, critical comments for improvement are allowed. And then there will be 8 rounds for each panelist, and the panelists are given 5 minutes for each round to answer the questions. So the timekeeper will inform the panelists, okay, one if they exceed the time, and the moderators and co-moderator will how do you say, may interrupt the speech if the panelists exceed the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers out there, you can ask question if you want to at any time during this live stream. Okay. You can ask question via live chat. So we have our crew, our backstage crew, that will gather all your questions, and they will send the question to me, and we will definitely ask the questions to the panelists. And then the session will be done in both Malay and English language, but dominantly we will speak English lah, because we are also collaborating this program with Unit Bimbingan Counseling of SMK Medini and highly immersive program. Okay, so we are also inviting parents out there to join us and to ask questions. Who knows, your kids might be applying for scholarship. Okay, for scholarship. All right. So, Hannah, I believe that we have introduced you to the what we call to the panelists. So, what do you think of the panelists?
I find them really fun and they are very supportive, and I'm so grateful that they decided to join us for today.
Right. I don't want to expose who are the panelists yet. We don't want to expose who are the panelists yet. But all I can say is that we have one male panelist and one female panelist. Okay, both of them receive scholarship from two different companies, and they will share their experience going for the scholarship interviews, and they will also share how is it like to study in university with scholarship, their journey after their study, and their profession now. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, while waiting for the other panelists, I would like to ask for your cooperation to remind your friends that we are having session today. Tell them, please send the link to them, and make sure they join us, because I am sure it will be a beneficial session, 2 hours of beneficial session for all of you. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we have two of our panelists. So I would like to introduce them now. So may I call upon our first panelist? Let me call upon Mr. Muhammad Anif bin Adnan. Hi Anif, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. How are you
How are
guys?
you, Anif?
Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much, Anif, for joining us. It is an honor for us to have you with the school. Okay, the second panelist for today, let me call upon Miss Elina Yasmin Muhammad Azmi. Hi, Miss Elina.
Hi. Hi. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikum. How are you, Miss Elina?
Alhamdulillah. Okay. How are you guys?
We are good, Alhamdulillah.
Great, great. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much for joining us. So, Miss Elina, I'm sure I've read the rules and regulations so that the viewers know what we are going to do and what we can and we cannot do. So, without further ado, let us start with. Shall we start with the first round? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let us start with the first round. So can you please tell me a little bit about yourself? Well, who were you when you were in school? Let us start with Mr. Anif, maybe.
Oh, I thought I want to give it to the ladies first, yeah, ni.
Oh,
But
ladies
yeah,
first,
yeah.
eh?
But honoring you, I can start first. But Elena, you okay?
Yeah. Fine. Don't worry. It's okay.
All right. I'll just start lah. Thank you, Fikri. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We are like just to confirm, we are live. Like everyone is here, or
Yeah, we are
testing,
live.
or
No, we are live, and they are 54 and more coming.
okay. Good to know. Good to know. Hi guys. So yep, I'm Anif. I'm 31 years old this year. I'm married to one wife and blessed with two wonderful kids. Eldest is a
Alhamdulillah.
girl and second is a boy. So I have a pair lah. Both of them are my colleagues now, working from home. So they are very noisy colleague. I live in Rawang, Selangor, with my small family of four. So when I was about the your age, like not Fikri's or Elina's age, the boys or girls' age, I was studying at Malay College, Kuala Kangsar, MCKK. I'm the batchmate of one of your educators here, Sir Fik, or fondly known as Gadut lah. I call him Gadut because I think he was from a place called Sungai Gadut, so that name sticks with him until today. We were in the same
Exactly.
dormitory. Yeah, we played the same sport. We represented the state of Perak together, and I think we were quite close lah. Well, at least that's what I thought. I'm not sure about him though.
Yes, and
Obviously,
if
he
we
chose.
were close, we are still close.
Well, obviously, you chose a better profession than I am to become an educator. I think who has the greatest investment in the hereafter, inshallah. A profession as an
Inshallah.
educator should be envied. Everyone should envy people who become an educator because you're educating a generation that could benefit another generation and another generation. When what you thought is being practiced for good, you get the same reward. So I envy people who become an educator. I was in the Malay College for 5 years. 2003 to 2007. I went to university for 4 years, fully sponsored by Petronas, and now working with the company Petronas because I'm serving a bond of around 8 years or so. I was stationed in Sarawak for 4 years, in Bintulu to be exact, the town of Bintulu. I got married during my first year there. I bought a house, I sold it, and came back in KL in 2017. So I'm currently working in the line of data science, reliability engineering, machine learning, and supply chain. It's a bit of rocket science for high schoolers. Trust me, when I was in your age, I couldn't really understand the working world. So let me just keep it simple for you lah. I'm working with Petronas. So yeah. I'm an avid sports person. I play a lot of sports. I play squash, I play bowling, I play badminton, basketball, many others. I think sports make my body and mind healthy. So I think that's a little bit about myself. I don't want to take too much time for Elena. So yep.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anif. Okay, let us proceed with Elena. So, Elena, how about you? Who were you when you were in school? I was informed that you were from SSP. It's a great school, sekolah yang mantap, yang hebat lah kan. So, tell us, who were you when you were in school?
Okay, I think I just want to put it out there. First and foremost, thank you very much, Sir Fik and SMK Medini for having me here. Based on the short meeting we had previously, I am very sangat-sangat berbesar hati to be here and share with you guys as much as I can about my experience. So I was born and raised in KL with my small family. It's just me and my husband so far. I went to high school in Sekolah Seri Putri in Cyberjaya for 5 years. So I had my SPM in 2009. After Seri Putri, I went for A-levels, Cambridge A-levels at College Yayasan UEM. So it's sort of like a residential college in Lembah Beringin, very close to Tanjung Malim, Perak. And then after 2 years of A-levels, I did my degree in economics and accounting at University of Bristol in United Kingdom. So my A-levels and my degree studies were fully sponsored by Yayasan UEM. And then after that, I served my 5 years bond with UEM group of companies. So I just finished my bond around August last year, but I am still with the company. I am currently doing, boleh kata macam media and public relations. So whenever in a very ringkas way, whenever there's media, there's wartawan, there's inquiries, there's crisis communication, there's handle events. So that will be under the purview of what I do. Me and my husband, we today hari ni actually anniversary. So
Wow,
Happy
congratulations.
anniversary, husband.
Happy anniversary.
It's not a kahwin anniversary. It's just anniversary that we've known each other for 11 years and we've been married.
Oh.
So 38, 19. So we've been married for about 3 years now. So the both of us memang suka sangat-sangat pulau. So whenever we have the time, we would travel ke islands in Malaysia and we try to go outside Malaysia. Other than that, I love to read And ever since COVID and MCO, I've been quite a PC gamer.
PC
So
gamer.
yeah. So I have my setup here. So this is my laptop screen, but here is my PC setup with the help of my husband. Dia tolong set up kan. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I have a lot of students who play games. So what
Yeah.
games do you play, Elena? What
I
games do you
mean,
play?
I don't play the yang besar-besar macam COD ke Destiny ke. I play the very simple open world, Lara Croft, Far Cry, so those kind of games.
All right. Okay, Elena.
Good to know, good to know.
Just now Anif told us that he was kind of sportsman back in school. Were you a sports girl back in school?
When I was in Sri Putri, I took up taekwondo. So
Okay.
and Alhamdulillah, I managed to finish my taekwondo until my black belt just before SPM. So I am also
Oh
a black belt
yeah.
taekwondo holder.
Mm.
You know that
Um,
it shows that co-curricular activities is very important, right? Very crucial.
yes, yes. I think I've always lived with the motto, you work hard, but you also have to play hard. You have to balance it all
Exactly.
really. Yeah.
All right. Exactly.
All right, thank you so much to both of our panelists for telling us a little bit of their backstory, and it definitely gives me more motivation to work even harder starting from now. So for the second question, this is probably one of the most famous questions that people want to ask, which is, how did you apply for the scholarship that you get? Who provided the information, and who helped with the process?
Who'll start first?
Alina, you want to start? I give Alina this one because my answer is very boring. So I think Alina has a better answer for this one. So
Okay, let's see. For me, masa mula-mula lepas dah dapat results SPM, so memang my first step is go on online and go on to the website and see what scholarships are out there. So, and we're talking about years ago, and I'm sure now, when you go on Google, you can see there's so many yayasan, there's so many foundations, there's so many companies that are offering scholarship. But what I noticed, the trend nowadays, it's also much more competitive. So I start Googling, what companies are offering, and most importantly, I think the minimum requirements that they set for to apply for their scholarship. So, for example, macam UEM, I think right now their requirement is around 7 A's, 8 A's for SPM punya result. Different scholarship providers definitely have different requirements. So so ada 4 perkara penting yang I would say I considered before applying for scholarship. Number 1 is definitely what you want to do. You nak study apa? You nak study engineering ke? You nak study IT ke? When I went back to KY around, so I call KY UEM KY lah. So when I went back to KYUM punya awards day about last year or 2 years ago, there are people now who are doing marine biology. So you have to ask yourself, what do you minat and what do you want to study? So for me, I memang suka numbers. So I decided to do economics and accounting, and that's my my degree lah. So the second thing that I think applicants have to consider is eligibility. So again, you have to look what the scholarship minimum requirement to apply for the scholarship. Some scholarships, they also look at Form 4 punya results. Some scholarships ada yang I pernah dengar, dia tengok result trial SPM pun ada juga yang dia tengok. So
Yep.
and definitely it's a given that you have a good balance of your studies and your koko and sukan lah. Other than that, the third thing is the terms and conditions of the scholarship. So lain scholarship, lain terms and conditions dia. So ada scholarship yang offer study locally in Malaysia, ada scholarship yang offer to pursue your studies overseas. Requirement masa study nak kena berapa A, berapa pointer to sustain your studies. Ada scholarship bagi kalau macam tengah-tengah you study, you nak tiba-tiba nak tukar ke course lain. So have a look at, you know, different types of scholarship and different types of the TNCs that they have. And I think number 4, the most importantly, look at nowadays. Dulu my time semua memang apply manually, semua kena post all the forms, all the photocopy cert. So now have a look, you know, cara apply dia online or cara apply dia, you know, manually. You have to post to the address of the company or yayasan lah. Going back to the question, where in the process of applying scholarship, I think the most importantly, the person that helped me the most is definitely my family and my parents lah. So you know, apa-apa yang tak tahu, yang tak pasti, semua banyak saya tanya kepada parents saya lah. And it's also important for you to ask around and research about what you want and what you are applying for lah. I stress a lot about online search, but I do know some scholarships still advertise in the newspapers, so watch out for that juga lah.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
thank
guys,
you.
I think that's about it, right? I think that's what we need about the session. It's I think that's what I like about working with ladies. You know, they are very particular. They have numbers and everything. They said number 1, number 2, number 3. You know,
They are very
I
particular.
I just texted Fikri this evening. Gadot, can you send me back the questions?
and I was driving that time, so I was like macam gelabah. Alamak, adik minta sekarang pula.
So all right, let me tell you my story. I mean the round 2 questions, right? I mean the question was, how did I apply for it? Who provided all the information and all that? To be truthful to you, when I was in MCKK, there were only a handful of scholarship that I know. All right, it's like Mara, JPA, Petronas. Those are the 3. I don't know anything else, right? That's it. But obviously there were countless others lah, like Elina mentioned, that were not known to me before. I have to thank the school counselor that time, Cikgu Rizwan, Cikgu Bibi. I think, Gadot, if you remember, those 2 were our counselors, kan? Cikgu Rizwan, Cikgu Bibi, helping us all the way. You know, my parents were not in a worldly sense successful in studying under scholarship or studying abroad. You know, we're coming from village, so they weren't in a worldly sense successful in that way. So having teachers who paved my way is one of life's biggest blessing for me. At that time, Petronas was one of the hot name lah back then, especially when the company is making hundreds of billions a year in profit. So now, the supply glut and, you know, economic downturn and all of that. So it's quite bad now. But when Petronas was on the list to grab, I was like, let's do it. You know, after all, it's a brand name that is known to people. Isi minyak pun kat Petronas and everything is about Petronas Formula 1 lah, Twin Tower. So at that time, UTP offers University Technology Petronas. I was from UTP. So UTP offers program using SPM trial SPM lah. I was among the few yang how do I put it? I malu nak kerja part time lepas habis SPM sampai kerja sampai masuk universiti. The time tu I jenis yang malu nak bekerja. I tak nak kerja pam minyak, I tak nak kerja you know, pergi jadi librarian ke apa ke. I'm not that kind of person. So my parents would for sure hambat me out of the home. Pergi cari kerja while waiting for the university and stuff. So when UTP offered, you can use your trial SPM result to start. I was like, that's it. That's my calling, you know. So I just go and fill in the forms. Of course, we go to internet cafe lah back then. We don't have any smartphones ke apa tak ada. So we go to the internet cafe. We were given the links by our counselors at that time. Thank you, teachers, educators, for helping me to be who I am today. But no, those days, internet cafe. Now, a couple of keystrokes and 1 or 2 clicks. It's different world now, you know. So that's it. I think that's a short answer. Very truthful, coming from the heart. One, no 1, 2, 3 kind of bullets for me to tell you guys. Just tell the stupid story of who I was back in the days. Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Anif, Adnan. All right, Anif, I still remember back those days. If I'm not mistaken, you were in 5 Science 2. I was in 5 Science 5, but almost all of us back then were so excited when we talk about
just a correction. I was in 5 Science 1.
5 Science 1. You see, power
Yeah,
gila
that was
kot.
the first
Kan?
class, right? I was the number
First class.
30 in the list. Before I got into
Oh,
the second class, I was the number 30. I was the last one to be in the first class. So yeah, just a little bit correction lah.
yeah, 5 Science 1. I remember I was in 5 Science 5, but still at that time I got excited when we talk about Petronas. I still remember there were our old boys who came. They were from Petronas. They came and they organized a workshop about
Yeah.
interview. If you still remember, so
Yeah.
but it was big for us. To target for Petronas, to target for scholarships when we finish the SPM. And then you guys are the how do you say, the lucky ones to get the scholarship. Okay, I would like to proceed to the next round. What were your preparations attending for the interview session? Did you study? Because I heard that Petronas. I don't know about UEM. Maybe Elina can enlighten us about interview session for scholarship for UEM. But from what I heard, Petronas is a bit different. So I would like to know what were your preparations that you do before you attend for the interview session. Anyone of you can start first. Anif lah tadi Elina.
Yeah. I think Elena will give you much more detail.
Ke Anif nak bagi Elina juga?
It's okay. This one I can take it. This one coming from the heart.
And then you'll just add.
So, no, Elena will like correct me everything. Later on, she will correct. No. Actually, that one is not the right thing to do. So, just a little bit on preparation lah. Again, during that time, not much information. Now it's different. You can Google what to do, how to prepare for an interview. Back then, it's just you. I could not really recall things that I do before the interview session. But to let you guys know, back in school, I have a very high sense of confidence. When I left Malay College, I had in my mind that I will get this through. That kind of confidence, you see. I think my life in Malay College helped me a lot in boosting my confidence lah. I was an avid public speaker. It actually goes back to secondary school. No, secondary? No. Sekolah rendah, yeah? Back to Sekolah Rendah, I was already a public speaker. Yeah, I was the national level champion for public speaking, but that was in Malay language. My English was very bad. When I entered Malay College, I know nothing about English. Not like know nothing lah. I know something, but very bad. But I like hip hop very much. I like Too Fat. I follow Joe Flizzo. I follow Malik. I can rap right now, right? So I really like those music, and those things help me in a little bit about pronunciation, how you pronounce certain things, and I also like to watch English movies, and I have a strong skill of imitations. Yeah? I like to imitate. I like to mimic what the actor would have said, and I even talk to myself. So normal phrases in communication doesn't really scare me because I talk to myself a lot already, So I've already have those frequently used lines in my head. It's just a matter of timing. Whenever you want to speak to me, I already have something in my head just to start the communication. When it comes to the real point, then I have to be a little bit careful again. So in short, my preparation for the interview is actually longer than my secondary school years. To excel in 3 days of interview, I'll tell you a little bit in the next round what happens in the interview. But in that 3 days of interview, I actually have prepared myself for years. I've prepared since Sekolah Rendah. I've prepared myself in terms of boosting my confidence and how I select my words and how I speak to people. It's like a wireman or a chargeman, if I can give you an example. The one yang datang rumah you and just repair some wires that you don't really know what it is, and suddenly they charge you 1,000 ringgit. You might complain, they just cut one wire. But you could see in the invoice, the breakdown, number one is cutting one wire that is costing him maybe 1 ringgit. But the second in the list is knowing which wire to cut. That is 999 ringgit, So the value of experience, the value of underlying works, your failures, your embarrassment of trying, in the end shall worth it. That is the bottom of the iceberg that no one sees. So that is pretty much my preparation. It takes years, man.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Anif. I really like when you say that you were not that good in English as compared to now. I would say that you are, how do I say, a very good English speaker, right? So and I like it when you say that you learn English when listening to song, and then when you
Yep.
watch movies, you imitate. That is actually ways to, you know, to improve your English, right? So we
It
actually
definitely is. It's how
yeah,
kids are learning as well. Gadut,
yeah,
right? They
yeah, yeah,
watch
yeah,
us, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
kids follow
I
everything that you do,
mm-mm.
but not sleeping. You know, they follow everything, but when you sleep, they don't follow you sleep as well. So that's the thing that
Yep.
I'm still wondering why they don't follow that. You know, they
Uh-uh.
follow everything that I do, but when I sleep, they wouldn't sleep. So
That's why I always tell my students, if you want to learn English, sometimes they ask me, sir, how do I improve my English? So I would say
yeah,
you go and listen to English song and watch English movies. When you turn on the subtitle, use English subtitles. At the same time, you will imitate what they are speaking, right?
you're right.
So thank you very
You're
much,
right.
Anif, for that one. How about Elena? What were your preparations before you attended the interview session?
I think for me, I mean, to answer this question, I would go back to the basics lah. I think
Yeah.
Hanif has covered a lot about, character and, your proficiency development. And this is over the years. But although that being said, it's over the years. I always believe, just to be yourself. Pergi interview, you present yourself. This is you coming in a package, and just be humble and be yourself. I always believe that before I go for interviews. But I also think
Mm-hmm.
going for interviews also get the basics right lah. Tengok details dia kat mana, get the tarikh right, get the time right, interview kat mana, nanti last minute sesat jalan lah, sesat tempat lah. I know it happens to a lot of
Mm-mm.
people, Kadang-kadang bila nervous tu,
Yep.
you get all the details wrong, and then you have to come in, and
Mm.
then, you nervous, you have to say sorry, just get yourself and the details right lah. So nowadays, I know during my time, there wasn't any virtual interviews. So nowadays, I'm sure a lot of companies and yayasans are doing virtual interviews. So make sure you have your devices right, your microphone is working, you have a good and stable internet connection, those kind of things lah. As much as I remember masa interview dulu, it involves a lot of document nak prepare.
Yep.
Uh, I remember, forms tu biasa lah, you have to fill in forms, and then you have to make sure it's really the basic things, IC photo state, slip gaji mak
Yep.
ayah, apa lagi, gambar passport, those kind of things. I always believe in preparation lah.
Mm-hmm.
Before an interview. So it's this little and the basic things. And then before the interview itself, just to ready yourself, tenang, be yourself, be humble. Baju,
Mm-hmm.
it's the little things. Baju, make sure gosok before, kasut. I mean, I know people, bila I've had friends, and even sometimes myself, kadang-kadang, they don't want to spend so much money beli yang baru. Pinjam je dengan kawan-kawan. I see no problem with that, because
Yeah.
you just
Yep.
pergi for a while and then you come back. So for me, it's really the basics lah. Get your basics and your details right for your interview.
Just
Yep.
sambung a little bit
Ah.
what Elena mentioned about be yourself, kan? It's pretty much on being genuine, When I had the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to interview some people as well. Actually, as an interviewer, you also want somebody who is genuine. You don't want somebody who
Yep.
just picked up a book or just read some articles and spit it out to you. You want that person who will be working with you, and you want to know that person. And if you're not selected because you just being you, that means you're not meant for the job. So
Exactly.
being you is a very good example on how to be genuine in any interview whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Just to share with you, a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, I just applied for a scholarship, and as compared to your story,
Wow.
it was way easier now as compared to those days. We just have to submit it online, just scan, and then everything is there. And then we applied it online, and then we would just wait for the for the results to come out. And please pray for me, inshallah. If I have the rezeki, inshallah, I'll Tak tahulah. Hopefully. Please pray for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next round. Hannah, next round.
All right. Thank you so much to Miss Elena and Mr. Anif for the heads up. And let's all pray together for Sir Fikri. For the next round, I believe this is one of the scariest and nerve-wracking part, which is how was your scholarship interview session went, and what are the challenges and the best part of it?
Who would like to start first?
Elena, you want to start first? Actually, I made I made a list here because I couldn't remember what happened in the interview. Elena, you go first.
Okay, for me, Alhamdulillah, I had the rezeki to attend a few interviews. So I went to Khazanah punya scholarship interview, even Petronas as well, JPA dengan UEM itself. So I'll talk about UEM punya lah. So I remember masa interview UEM, the first stage was it's a personality test. So they will get you to answer a couple of questions just for them to. So usually personality test ni, nowadays kalau you guys Google, you know, there's a different types of people and different types of characteristics they are. So a lot of companies and organization bodies, you know, they like for you to answer a few questions, this personality test, for them to have an idea, you know, sort of which box you belong to. So it's really a lot of yes no question, and personality test basically is very simple. And then for me the next stage was there was assignments. So again different yayasan have it differently. Ada yang assignment in solo, ada yang assignment, you know, you have to do assignments with other people. So for me my assignment was having to write an essay. So dia bagi kertas, dia bagi pen, and then dia bagi about half an hour I think. Essay topik tu tak silap lah, nyatakan langkah-langkah untuk membina remaja berakhlak lebih baik di negara kita, something like that lah, I remember. So
and sorry to interrupt, and that was in Malay. That was in Malay or English essay? Malay essay, Malay language.
They gave you both. So you boleh jawab in English or you boleh jawab in Malay. Yeah, whatever that you're comfortable in.
All right.
Yeah, and then so this is all within one day lah. Within the first stage of masa tu pergi ke Mature UEM masa tu. So and then after half an hour is done, and then they will call you for the first interview with panelists lah. So usually first interview ni they will give you panelists from I would say first level punya management lah. So it's usually the managers or the senior managers of yayasan, and waktu tu masa tu I remember it was senior manager of the people in yayasan UEM lah. So interviews ni kadang-kadang you know, panelists like to test you. So kadang-kadang ada panelists yang macam dia main good cop bad cop tau. So I remembered ada yang they ada yang, you know, very friendly with you, but ada yang macam very macam garang with you. So sometimes, you know, sort of the bad cops would try to provoke you, and they would throw you questions after questions. So I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier, you know, when you be yourself and, you know, you be genuine, macam Anif cakap, you know, you just answer it very calmly and to what you know your knowledge is. So the thing about interviews ni, when you be yourself, you know, it's okay to say that you don't have enough information about certain things that they ask. You know, there's only so much research, there's only so much reading you can do, and you know, you tawakal going to an interview. So if you don't know about certain topics, you just say my apologies, I don't have sufficient knowledge in this topic, but I do know that scam, do whatever that you know to the best of your knowledge. So yeah, and then I went home after the first interview, and then I got a call for the second interview. So this one with the more higher level management dalam yayasan lah. So there was the CEO of yayasan in the interview, and actually bila dah second interview ni dia lagi relax. Dia lagi macam borak-borak, they want to know you.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much that for the second level, and then the next few weeks, and I got a call, alhamdulillah, getting the scholarship. So yeah, that was my interview session with UEM. Yeah.
What was the feeling that time when you knew that you were selected, you were the chosen one?
Oh,
How was the reaction? I would like to know the reaction.
the funny thing is, I received 3 calls. I ingat masa tu. So it was they were told me, alhamdulillah, I got for UEM, for JPA dengan for Petronas. So Ana pergilah dekat mama ayah, kata macam mana ni nak pilih yang mana. So research. So I went for UEM. Because why I went for UEM? Because dia hanya pilih sikit je amount of people for one batch. So so I know that my development daripada study sampai kerja tu to say dijaga lah, because there's only sikit of you. So alhamdulillah, it was very happy lah, because masa tu my dad own a restaurant in Petaling Jaya. So after SPM, I would help him sort of jaga cashier, ambil order. So receiving the scholarship masa tu, I rasa macam dah for my parents tu dah lepas dah beban dia. So I was very happy. It was very happy. Yeah.
Thank you, Elina. So about Anif.
All right.
How was your interview session with Petronas?
Yeah, so I told you I made a list because it's quite a long interview punya time lah. At that time, it was called, it's a structured interview. I think you can Google it up, structured interview. And it's actually called education camp. They would call everyone who passed the requirement or eligibility to attend the interview to be part of the EduCamp. The EduCamp is 3 days and 2 nights. By the way, I've checked with UTP and some education section guys in Petronas, and EduCamp is now no more. Petronas is not sponsoring as much as before. So I think the method is pretty similar. But for you guys to prepare for lah. But right now, especially for UTP, it's no more. So it's no more there for UTP. And right now, I think it's around 60% private. Private students will go to UTP, and the rest would comprise of many other than Petronas lah, like Mara and JPA. But just sharing with you, this one maybe could help you in one of your interviews, because usually companies would pick the kind of like similar method or approach to perform interview. So just a quick one on EduCamp. It was a 3 days and 2 nights. So first day I was assigned to a roommate. I came alone, so whoever like lined up behind you, that will become your roommate lah, straight away. Yeah? So there will be some briefing. You will be told about what will happen in the next 2 days. There's also ice breaking, where you will be grouped together and you will tell anything other than the interview, anything about yourself, your experience, just to break the ice lah. So that's pretty much first day. Second day, document submission. When you came, you bring everything. Yeah, your macam Elina mentioned, your photostat IC lah, apa lah, gaji and so on. Document submission will be the first one, and after that, there will be an English test. So it's an objective English test. They just wanted to know whether you understand English or not. You know, it's just a simple grammar questions. I is or I am or I can't remember really, but those are the basic ones lah. So it's a very basic English test objective. So objective English test. If you can get at least a B in English, I think you can just pass it with flying colors lah. After that, there's a career talk. Career talk is when they call people from Petronas. All the engineers, all the IT people, HR people come and talk about what they do in Petronas. So just to boost your morale a little bit. And there's also a critical reasoning and aptitude test. So critical reasoning, we call it CR. It's a test where you will be given a question, and there are I think the question is around one pager. There will be 5 questions
Mm-hmm.
after that. So they just wanted to know how you make decision, how genuine are you, what kind of person are you. Are you like a serial killer kind of approach, or are you like a imam kind of approach? How to solve a problem, what are the assumptions you make. So those are the critical reasoning. I think you can also Google it up, critical reasoning. It's also part of, I think most companies will tend to do that just to know what kind of person are they hiring. And after that, it will
Mm-hmm.
be an IQ test. IQ test will just put you in, they call that a bell shape
So,
graph. Where you are you at the first quartile or the last one or the middle. So IQ test,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing, they just don't pick. I mean, it's not for them to pick only the genius ones. It's just for them, for
Yep.
the record, to see what are they dealing with. That's the second
Yep.
day. And the third day is the interview day. So the first day, second day is kind of like fun days lah. We were
Mm-hmm.
sleeping at the dormitories of UTP at that time, 3 days, 2 nights. So the third day is the interview day. You will be grouped into fours. Yeah? There will be 4 people in each group. You'll be given group assessment and group assignment and individual assignment. For group assessment, all will have the same question.
Oh, okay.
For individual, everyone will have different question because you will be interviewed one by one, and what you get is what you will be asked. So, for instance, you're given, like, what was Elina's example just now? How to what,
uh,
Elina?
meningkatkan akhlak remaja di
Akhlak, for
negara
example,
kita,
meningkatkan
something
akhlak
like
remaja,
that.
right? So,
Ah.
maybe your question for individual is, apa kesan-kesan remaja yang keruntuhan akhlak? Okay, so you'll be given a specific question only for you
Oh.
lah. But for the group assessment, everyone will be given the same question. The intention was to see who has a better approach to answer that same question. So in the group of 4, you will get the same question,
Mm-hmm.
and each and everyone will kind of like give their mind lah. I mean, talk what you think about approaching that question. So that's a little bit psycho punya ni lah, session lah, where you have 4 strangers, 3 strangers including you,
Mm-hmm.
4, talking about the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you would think that, oh my god, that guy's answer is very good, mine is just like, I don't know, like in this session, I'm giving you what that Alina has told better. So the challenges are, for group assessment, you know that you are being observed. It's very hard. It's very easy for Alina and me to say, be yourself. But in group assessment, you know that you are being monitored. There's one guy, representative of the company, watching you in the group, like,
Mm-hmm.
not debating, but try to express,
Arguing,
arguing,
express your opinion.
expressing,
Yep.
So the feeling of being observed, you can feel the tension. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
came out from your mouth is being evaluated. So it's kind of
Yep.
like, oh, this is tense. Yeah?
Psych.
But again, if you're being genuine, you try to be yourself. That's who you are. And you kind of like, if you like certain idea, you can just say, yeah, I like that idea. I think you have a very good idea there. If I can add a little bit, things like that. Just be a little bit casual, and not to when that guy give his example, right? And you know that you are being watched and you want to win over him. So you said, I don't agree with that. I think you have a very wrong mindset of saying that. Some people might tend to have that kind of approach, where this is going to be my next answer on the memorable part. I think that was one of the questions, right?
Yep. Yep. That was
One
one
of
of.
the memorable part during the group assessment is that I stood up for a lady who was bashed quite horribly by a member of the group. You see, I can still remember
Oh.
the lady's name until today, and she's one of the petroleum engineers in Petronas lah. Okay, whenever I talk about interview day, I definitely will talk about this moment. That lady was bashed by one guy because she gave her opinion, and I stood up for her, and I said that actually, I can't remember what I said, but I really stood up for her and said that that's not the right way of you approaching that. What she said
Mm-hmm.
isn't, it's not wrong. It's something like that. So that's the memorable part for me lah.
All right.
For the interview,
Okay.
it's
Thank
scary, by the
you.
way.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
Okay. Ah.
Safiq, I think
Yep. Yep. Continue.
I would say Petronas punya interview is quite dia punya group assignment tu is quite one of the psycho ones juga lah. I remember
I
masa
was
tu
informed.
uh,
I was informed the same as well because I still remember when we had the workshop, if I'm not mistaken, in CKK. They even said that kalau you nampak ada masuk pintu dekat interview tu nampak ada pen, and then kalau you dia nak tengok you ambil ke you tak ambil. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I was informed something like that. Nak tengok you punya attitude, you ambil ke you tinggalkan ke, macam itulah. So macam I don't know whether, if they were like, you know, trying to takutkan kita ke, but you know, Anif already told us the situation lah. I think it might be like that. Mungkin lah ada macam tu kot kan.
I don't know how many pens I have stepped.
That's right.
no, I think another thing Petronas punya interview ni, I think partly to test, you know, for those yang tak pernah lagi berjauhan dengan mak ayah, for example, you know, you have to go to, masa tu lah, you have to go to Trono for 3 days, you know, talk your parents, handle, you know.
Call it Toronto.
It is
Toronto.
I
and at that time,
masa tu,
correct me if I'm wrong, Anip. At that time, there was nothing pun dekat sana other than UTP and if I'm not mistaken, UITM Sri Iskandar, right?
Yeah.
But now I rasa memang dah membangun lah kawasan tu ada.
Yeah, there's
residential area, kan? Bowling alley.
Yeah.
Okay. Anip, I have one additional question. How long was the individual interview session?
I think it's around 20 minutes.
20 minutes lah. Okay.
Yeah.
20 minutes
actually, as an interviewer myself, it varies according to people. You have all the mandatory questions that you need to ask, and it depends on, you know, how that person answer. And if you like that person or if you dislike that person, you can cut it short or extend the interview with him. So yeah, it's because we are dealing with people, right? People have emotions and
yeah, they are different. All right, okay, let's move on to the next round. So, but before I move on to the next round, I would like to remind our viewers, if you have any question, feel free to ask the question because I have crew members who are jotting down your questions here. So please ask more questions to our panelists because they had the experience. They have the answer that you might want to ask. Okay, if you ask me about scholarship, I had no experience receiving scholarship from any companies. Okay, so please ask them about scholarship. All right, moving on to the next round, round 5. Is it my turn, Hannah? It's my turn. Okay, moving on to the next round. What do you think? Why do you think you were selected as the scholarship recipient? What are your strengths and quality that you possess as compared to other candidates? Let us start with Elina.
I think my answer will be repetitive sikit lah, but I really quite think it's because I was genuine. I was myself. And most probably it helps that, you know, when you read a lot, when you do a lot of research, so it gives you an edge, you know, you give different opinions, different ideas to the answers that you put out. I think it's really simply because, you know, I went in, I be myself, I be genuine, and you know, it's really that. I tak tahu nak describe macam mana, but
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Anif, what were your strengths?
Actually, I have the same answer as Elina. I mentioned earlier about confidence, right? I think I'm genuine.
Yeah.
It's like how I am now, right? Me and you guys, and then laughing and just speaking my mind. Of course, with a little bit caveat here and there, I cannot say certain things, but I think I'm genuine. But above all, I think it's my rezeki. Like we all believe in rezeki. Of course, if we talk about rezeki, we don't have to talk about today. We don't have to even meet today. Yeah? In English, rezeki is called provision. Yeah? So, of course, if I can elaborate a little bit. Of course, we are grateful to Allah for this provision, for this rizki, and we pray that it's going to be good in the end. And then, as the Prophet said, that a person will not die until all of his provision that has been destined for him is fulfilled. So if you have that kind of thing, the sides of rezeki and the view in that. So it's going to be good for you in the end. Yeah.
I think to add on Anif is yang paling penting is berkat doa ibu bapa dan juga your teachers, definitely. It's bila sebab pula cerita pasal keberkatan doa orang-orang yang tapi tanamkan dalam hati, you've done your work, you've done your research, doakan doa kepada Allah moga dipermudahkan, and just tawakal, you cuba sebaik mungkin.
Okay, thank you, Elina. Hannah, next round.
All right, for the next round, the feeling when you were informed that you were eligible for the scholarship, and how did you spend the scholarship money throughout the period of study?
Siapa?
Just let me start. Let me start lah. I told you that I'm highly confident of myself, right? I think I can be that can be bad as well, But I think I knew I did my best, and I think I deserved it. If we talk about rezeki and all of that, of course it is. Especially when I stood up for that lady. That event still is inside my mind up until today. I think that's one of the good things. Maybe because of that, I got it. If you got sponsored by Petronas, it's worryless, especially in UTP. Petronas takes care of all of the expenses. You don't have to do anything. You just have to go to the ATM machine and withdraw the monthly allowance. There was also allowance for laptop. You can use and many other allowances. I forgot. You see, it's different with other scholarship in UTP. I give real example, like Mara scholars. A lot of my friends are Mara scholars as well. Majlis Amanah Rakyat. They have to do all the payment themselves. Mara will transfer to them, and they have to withdraw the money. They bring it to registrar. They bring it to the finance, bulk worth of money. Sometimes they take pictures of it as if they're selling drugs. It's so fun. I think Elena will also tell the story from her side, right? These guys will bring cash to the finance and pay everything. So yeah, I passed to Elena. I think she has a better story to tell.
I would say better lah, but Alhamdulillah, when I received Yayasan UEM punya scholarship, so it's divided into two different structure lah. So A-levels for 2 years di KYUEM in Lembah Beringin. So sama juga macam UTP. KY is it's a residential boarding college. So what does this mean is dia macam you duduk college asrama full time lah dekat dalam KY. So nobody can bring their own car. So every day you makan at the Dewan Makan, or you boleh beli makanan kat cafe. And then your asrama, so they call it chalet lah. So as a person from sekolah berasrama penuh, so chalet tu macam is an upgraded asrama for me lah. So when last time there were about 4 people in one chalet. But now I'm pretty sure, I think if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 people in one chalet, and your living area ada aircon. So asrama mana ada aircon, semua tidur kipas. So masa tu KY macam dapat rasa slightly better asrama. So everything is inside the KYUEM punya compound. So monthly allowance that we receive every month tu mostly untuk beli top up, masa tu pakai top up, just for kalau nak beli makanan kat cafe and stuff like that. So masa di college buat A-levels 2 tahun tu, it was very simple because everything is inside the compound. But when I went to the UK, financial arrangement between the yayasan is directly with the university. So in case kalau the university comes to you and say they are not seeing any payment through, just inform your yayasan. It could be sometimes bila dia transfer overseas money tu kadang-kadang mungkin macam satu karakter tinggal ke apa ke, dia reject payment. So yayasan will sort that out for you. Tapi the other things are slightly more independent. So back in 2012. I went to UK 2012 until 2015. I graduated in 2015. So I observed the range of sort of monthly allowance that organisation bodies range around, depends on where your university lah, but it's around £800 to about £1,500 pun ada. So that translates to about times 5 of our currency lah. But at university, everything is lebih berdikari. So ada orang dia prefer duduk accommodation dalam university. Ada orang dia menyewa rumah dengan kawan-kawan. So some of my friends dia nak jimat lebih, duit tu masuk bulan-bulan tu dia menyewa dengan kawan-kawan dekat tempat yang jauh sikit daripada university. So adalah lebih untuk nak makan luar ke, nak jalan-jalan ke. And then kalau beli groceries, masak sendiri, and then you jimat lagi banyak lah, because masa tu yang halal was easily available, was kebab for example. So satu kebab je dah satu kebab je dah 5-6 pound. So bila you masak sendiri tu you jimat lagi banyak lah. Dia kalau nak cerita pasal UK ni panjang, tapi nak katanya financial management tu is really you have to be responsible for your decisions and what you spend on lah. Sebab kadang-kadang bila ada duit lebih tu summer break boleh beli flight ticket untuk balik raya. So I always, my principle is always, you know, the moment the monthly allowance comes in from yayasan, and ni kita masuk kat universiti lah, I always dahulukan bayar rumah dulu, set aside untuk groceries dulu, daripada yang wajib-wajib dulu. And then lebih-lebih money tu tengoklah, beli jalan-jalan sikit, beli flight ticket nak balik rumah, you know, stuff like
Europe
that.
tour.
ada duit sikit tu dapatlah pergi jalan-jalan sikit.
So Elina and Anif, if you don't mind to share the reaction from your family members when they got to know that you were qualified to receive the scholarship. How was their reaction? Anif first, Anif.
Anif.
Okay. Of course, like I mentioned, right, I don't come from a very well-to-do kind of family. So when I got that, especially my mom, she is a housewife. She is fully relieved. I can still remember when she looked at it and she can feel like, okay, somebody is taking care of her son, right? So it's a huge relief for her, and she was very happy for me. Of course, we are all very grateful. So that is the only thing I can remember when I received that, you know. So the burden, the financial burden of my family is being lifted by Petronas. I think it's one of the best feeling.
Thank you. Elina, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I very much echo what Anif has just said lah. And I think I've mentioned this very briefly earlier. Bagi I think pada ibu bapa tu dia rasa lega dah lepas. Macam untuk for me dia dah tak perlu risau dah. My siblings, I have an elder sister and then me and then a younger brother. So masa tu younger brother tu dia masih sekolah lagi lah. So you know, it's more of definitely alhamdulillah, sangat bersyukur, sangat happy. You know, untuk anak aku yang seorang ni dah lepas dah lega dah.
Thank you. Elina? Lagi satu, Elina and Anif, lagi satu soalan tambahan I nak tanya. What was the most memorable advice given by your parents? Apa yang diorang cakap yang you ingat sampai sekarang? Parents lah. Your mother ke, your father ke? You start with Elina. Anif.
Ladies first, please.
Ladies first. Elina first.
I think my parents, in not so many words, said, especially ni masa before nak fly lah, masa before nak pergi UK, it was very in not so many words, you know, they don't have to say it so much pun, but they want to hear my voice every day, you know. I am the first in my family pergi jauh dah lah. SSP 5 tahun, KY duduk
Yeah.
asrama pun 2 tahun, lepas tu yang ni pergi UK lagi 3 tahun. I am the least at home punya adik-beradik lah. So yang I paling ingat tu, in not so many words, they want to hear from me every day, and they want me to tell them every day what I did lah. So yang tu lah yang I paling ingat.
Did you call them every
Yes.
day?
Yes, masa tu Alhamdulillah dah boleh Skype. So so it made very easy lah. Masa tu nak call masih mahal lagi. It wasn't as expensive as their time lah. Tapi Skype dah ada. So Alhamdulillah boleh Skype hari-hari. Although time difference tu was a bit tricky. But dapat Skype hari-hari tu. So Alhamdulillah. Happy sangat.
Alright. Anif, how about
I think
you,
it's a
Anif?
bit different for me lah. When I call every day, they're asking me why you're calling every day. So yeah, I mean, I mentioned that we came from a not well-to-do family, so we get that kind of money to spend, right? So just the advice is just spend it wisely. I'm not sure. Of course, at that age, you're never really sure what kind of what wise really mean. Maybe that wise is when you can play 10 games of bowling, you just play 3 games. That's the meaning of wise. I don't know, but that's kind of the feeling at that time, because if you don't have that much, everything is a lot to you. So yeah, spending it wisely is one of the wisest advice ever.
Given. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next round. Did you read every sentence of the scholarship contract? Or is there any scholarship clause that you would like to share with us? Something that is different, something that is special for you?
To be honest, if you download anything online, you just scroll at the end of it and click I have read and understood everything, right?
And then you sign.
If you look at the clauses one by one, it's either you are a serial killer or you are planning to sue the company or something. So of course, when it's a lengthy document, as a person who just graduated Form 5, you can barely finish your sejarah punya textbook. So you want to read all of those lawyerish terms. It's completely absurd. And we were briefed We were briefed about the terms and condition. They highlight the do's and don'ts. For example, you cannot get any other scholarship other than this one. You cannot have double kind of thing. And then one of the thing that is very prevalent is on the marriage terms. I can see in the question as well. That at that time we cannot get married under the scholarship. So we were told that exactly because during the briefing, those guys that gave us the briefing will tell things that is usually not the frequently asked question, the frequently happen things. So people who got married while they are still in the contracts are many. And of course, we're dealing with people, and I could see that some of my seniors got married and they still live happily ever after, still receiving monthly salary and all of that. So those are the things inside the terms and conditions. Of course, to be honest with you, I didn't read any of them. Just click, just sign everything as if I've read everything. That might be wrong on my part. Don't do that. For you guys at home, you just read everything and sign.
Okay.
So that's it from me. Alina, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think it's very similar. They usually would do like so bila you dah terima scholarship tu, and then they would spend like a day to do a briefing to you what the scholarship entails and what programs you have to do and that lah. Definitely do read lah before you sign, because especially macam katakan kalau macam Anif, your bond is 8 years, my bond is 5 years. Katakan dah sign baru sedar macam I'm in this for the next at least 10 years with this organization. So you really can't escape of it, because for some, and I think for a lot of scholarships, if you break your work bond before you are allowed to break it, there would be some penalty lah, or you have to pay back, bayar balik certain amount. So do read. They usually would give you a day to go back and then have a read at it, and then your parents have to sign, your guarantor has to sign. So you would have time lah to before you agree to the terms and conditions. For me, what was one of the clauses that I remember is it was compulsory for us. So this is another thing. Bila you satu batch sekolah tu tak ramai, so it's
Mhm.
compulsory for you to attend programs yang yayasan buat. So kalau you
Yes.
contact program tu memang dia akan tahulah Elina mana, sekian-sekian
Mhm.
mana. So masa dekat college, so a lot of
Mhm.
programs by yayasan centered around leadership skills. So they would do leadership camps, they would do team buildings, and then they would do programs or workshops about improving your English literacy and proficiency,
Yeah.
financial management, and all that. um, there will also, macam for example, UEM group of companies is big. So under UEM group, there's Plus Highway, there's UEM Sunrise, and all that. So we also got the opportunity to visit some of the operations of the company. So kalau macam Plus Highway tu, I remember we get to go on the boat and pergi visit Penang Bridge masa tu. And then we get to visit Iskandar Putri itself, where SMK Medini is. So just
Yep.
to familiarize and understand the company before you start working with the company. Uh,
Mhm.
masa buat degree kat university, one of the wajib things is so kalau macam I study 3 tahun, so satu summer break I kena balik and buat internship dekat mana-mana UEM group of companies. So internship is
Mhm.
very simple lah. It's 3 months and you still get your allowance.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the scholarship clauses lah for me.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, Elina. All right. The last round, Anna.
All right, for the last round, advice for those who want to apply for scholarships.
So, what are your advice? What is your advice for those who want to apply for scholarships? What preparation should they do prior to the application process? Elina, start first. Elina.
Elina, yeah. Elina, please.
Um,
Elina.
So, like it or not, the reality is scholarship does look at your SPM results, your exam results,
Mm-hmm.
and also your
Mm-hmm.
co-curricular activities. So, um, study hard, but also play hard. I always believe that. Kalau you guys study manjang tapi tak buat benda lain pun tak syok juga. So study hard, get
Mm-hmm.
get good grades, and also be out there and participate in activities, in clubs, in cocos, at school, um, because it's the reality. Scholarships, you have to work hard for it, but you have to work hard for it because by the end of the day, inshallah you'll get good things out of it. And especially these good things comes with the fact that you are making things, alhamdulillah, happy for your parents.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yep.
they would feel relief, and dah lepas anak aku seorang ni, like that.
Yeah.
um so try your best, try your very best, but also understand that even though bila you dah try, you dah tawakal, you try your best, even if you don't get the scholarship, don't feel disheartened, because scholarships is just one of the vessels, for your tertiary education. There's also many good programs out there, good universities, even in Malaysia still, for your opportunity to have a successful study life. So cuba, jangan tak cuba,
Yeah.
cuba.
Cuba Okay, Anif, your advice please, Anif.
I think I want to relate back to the time when I was in the situation as you guys lah. Many of the important things have been touched by Elina just now. I'd like to talk about more like provisions and belief, rezeki dan kepercayaan lah. I don't have this kind of like belief about rezeki and all of this when I started. I think people who don't have this understanding, and if something didn't go their way, that can be dangerous. Like Elena mentioned, you will be
Mhm.
disheartened. You kind of like you're feeling worthless. You're doing something wrong.
Yep.
You don't do anything good for your family and things like that. I have to share some cases of information hoarding. Um, information
Mm-hmm.
hoarding is like you share with other people some information. For example,
Yeah.
many a times, like people our age lah, gadut, we don't
Yep.
really know much about scholarships and stuff, right? Some of us did
Exactly.
some research. Some of us have the capacity to know more. Some have connections. Some have parents. Some have brothers, relatives who know about this and that scholarship. And we
Mm-mm.
eventually tend to be like, I'm keeping this for myself. I don't want to share with
Yeah.
other people. I want to keep this for
Mm-hmm.
myself. If I give it to you, you might end up getting it and I don't. Why should I give it to you?
Yep.
But again, I like
Mm-mm.
to put stress on provisions. As a Muslim, I believe that, like I mentioned, Prophet Muhammad mentioned that no one will die, no one will leave the world until all the
Mm-hmm.
provisions that has been destined for him has been fulfilled. Tak ada orang yang akan mati melainkan semua benda rezeki yang Allah dah tulis for dia dah diberi. So if
Okay.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
meant for you, it will never will. And if it's meant
Yeah.
for you, whatever it is, it will come through. But the thing about this information sharing or information hoarding will just
Mm-hmm.
hit back on you. If you help your friends, some way
Mm-hmm.
in your life, you will be helped by somebody
By
else.
someone.
If you do good things, if you don't believe in anything that I said, just believe in karma. If you do good things, good thing will happen to you. If you do bad things, one way or another
Mm-hmm.
bad thing will happen to you. So at this stage, many of our friends, they can start researching. Their parents or their relatives will start, hey, apply this, apply that. If you have friends, share it with them. Share the good news with them, saying that, okay, there's an opening for this. You guys might want to try it. Maybe one day, those friends yang dapat, you tak dapat, and those friends will climb up the corporate ladder, and in the end, that friend will remember that
Mm-hmm.
time when you gave him an opening and eventually turn your life around in the next 10, 20 years. You'll never know.
Mm-mm.
The thing is that,
Yep.
guys, when you move in your life, there could be things yang you would say lucky. You will tend to be lucky. But to me, my kind of definition for lucky is when hard work meets opportunity. Sometimes you work hard, there's no
Yep.
opportunity, you'll never get it. Those
Mm-hmm.
opportunity is something that might occur if you do good things to people. And I'm sharing this because during my time, there were cases. I don't know a lot of scholarships. We don't have those intel. But many of my
Yep.
friends know something that I don't know. I wish I would have known that, so I could have
Mm-hmm.
applied. So
Yep.
if you guys have information, share it with your friends. If you don't get it, and your friends who you share it got it, maybe it's never meant for you
His
anyway.
provision. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
his
So
provision.
yeah, it's the provisions. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Anif. I like what Elena said just now. You have to be active in co-curricular activities as well, because I am sure that all of you that were called for the interview, for the what we call the scholarship interview, you guys have the academic result, good academic result. You guys are all qualified. But what makes you guys different? Uh, what makes you guys become the chosen one is actually the X factor that you have, that you gain from co-curricular activities that you join in school. Am I right? Betul tak?
Indeed.
Betul.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that is all. We have finished all the 8 rounds, and just to let you know that we have quite numbers of questions here, that my crews have
Yeah,
gathered.
good. Before
So
we go
let
to the
us,
questions, you
yep,
mentioned about co-curricular activities and then involvement and stuff, and it will help us.
yep,
Sometimes it wouldn't help in terms of paper. Um,
betul.
if you like participating in pengakap, you do kawat kaki sampai malam and things like that, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
might not be the thing that people look in your CV
Mm-hmm.
or in your repertoire or in your, what do you call that, document, supporting documents or what lah,
Yeah, yeah.
your list of items, but it shapes
Mm.
you. It shapes
Yep.
how you think,
The
how you behave,
personality.
the discipline, your personality. I think that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whatever lah,
Yeah.
whatever you do,
Yeah.
sports, for example, different kind of
Mm.
sports shape you differently. If you play
Yep.
rugby, your personality is
Exactly.
different. If you play badminton, your personality is different, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like Bruce Lee
Yeah.
said, it be like
Yeah.
water, my friend.
That is actually what I meant. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. So now let's have a look at the questions that we have. Actually, we have 10 questions to be exact. So some of
Yeah.
the questions you guys have already answered. Okay. Like, is it true that you cannot marry when you are under a scholarship? I think Anif has already answered the question, right? A lot of people would like to know this. Boleh tak kahwin masa interview? Anif said ada je yang kahwin kan, but it was not right. Betul tak? It is against the contract. Betul tak, Anif?
Yeah, it's against the contract, and you will be called. You'll be
Yeah.
called for an
Yeah.
interview. You'll be asked, "Why are you getting married?" And things like that. You have to answer it. There is a risk
Mm-mm.
that your scholars
Yep.
will be taken away from you. Your scholarship will be taken away from you. That's the risk you have to take.
Mm. Okay.
Best,
Elena,
best.
best?
Yeah, if you truly think that this is a calling from God, right? I have to get married, or something bad will happen. You call the center. You call the people in
Before you
charge.
get married.
Yeah, you call them. Say that, man, I have to get married for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know for whatever reason. So you say, I have to get married. You know, you have to let me do this. Yeah. So
Okay.
talk to the guys, lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Elena, you have any experience? Anyone that you know got married when they were still under the contract, the scholarship contract?
For UEM, for my batch, no. But I do know some of other friends from other scholarship bodies yang memang
Okay.
masa kahwin tu, yelah macam Anif cakap, dah sampai seru, dah sampai panggilan untuk kahwin. It's very important for you. That's why it's very important for you to keep a good relationship and close contact with your officer in your scholarship body. So memang scholarships biasanya dia akan ada that one person point of contact for you to call whenever you have problems, nak submit result study every year. So if you know, apart from kahwin ke any other matters, just be truthful and inform your scholarship body.
Okay. Thank you, Elena. Hannah?
All right, for the next question is, how do you manage your time between education and sports?
Not only sport lah, co-curricular activities. Who would like to start for Anif lah? Anif, because I know Anif was quite active in university as well. Kan, Anif, you were active.
Yeah.
You represented state for squash, I know.
Yeah. How do I manage the time? It's a very difficult question. How do I manage the time? Yeah, most of the time is focus lah. If you have too many things inside your head, you cannot focus. Even though you spend like so much time in it, you still cannot get it. I think kids nowadays needs to learn how to focus, because nowadays there are many distractions, right? If you don't do anything, if you're not active in co-curricular, you can still be distracted with your smartphones, with your social media, right? So it's all about the power of focus. You need to know your priorities. Of course, doing sports excessively is not that good for you as well. And I think I have to recommend a book lah. I think you can buy it online. You can buy it off the shelf. It's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Start With Why. Bermula dengan kenapa. Start With Why is a very powerful book to get you back to the why are you doing this. You know? Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the quotes, he said, he who has a why to live can survive anyhow. What he means is that if you have a strong why, you can like move through it. You know, you can just go through it. For example, that you have a very strong why to do well for your family. You will eventually find the focus, find the time, throw away all of the distractions, because you know what your why is. I'm sorry. You know, so if you're thinking about your parents, you're thinking about, okay, I have to support my family, I have to do well. That is the biggest why, and
Yep.
nothing else can distract you if you have that strong why you put inside yourself. Whatever happens, right? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you need to know. We usually we use big why, kan. You need to know the big why you are here, why are you doing this, and why
Yep.
whatsoever why lah. But then you still need to know, so that it will be the drive for you to to achieve something that you aim for. All right. Well, the third question that we have here, Anif and Elina, what to do when you don't know what you are interested in? Meaning to say that some of the pupils that I have here, whenever I ask them, what's your target once you finish your SPM? What would you like to do after you finish your SPM? They don't know. I think when during my time, I also had this problem. Truth to be told, nak buat apa lepas ni? Tengok dulu result SPM macam mana. How about you guys? Macam mana you guys dulu?
Alina?
I think I think it's very important for you to really reflect yourself, and because no one else knows you better than yourself, and then you have to ask yourself, apa yang aku minat, apa yang aku suka. And for me, masa tu I realised I memang suka numbers. So that's why I am in the economics and accounting punya courses. I know it's sometimes it's hard. Kita tak sure kita nak buat apa, and then with the very very many pressure of you want to be successful and all. It's okay to reach out for help. But you have to make the initiative to go and ask. You have your school counselor, doing sessions macam ni. You have your teachers, you have your family, parents, you have your peers, your friends. Go out there and see what the world has to offer. Because bila kita tak tahu ni, it's usually because we don't know. Kita tak tahu, we don't know what's out there. So make the initiative to go out there, get more information, ask other people, and inshallah you will see and you will lead to something that you will be interested in, inshallah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anif, what's your opinion?
If
you don't know what to do.
Yeah, I want to quote Martin Luther King Jr. I think some of you guys know him. He said, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, right? He should, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. I'm reading from, I'm actually reading, I don't memorize it. But so what I want to say is that there are three types of person. One type is he is really sure what he wants to do and he really pursue. Even if he fail, he will try every other way just to get what he wants to be accomplished. That's the first one. The second one is he doesn't know what he wants to do, but whatever he does, he will do his best, right? I think I'm the second person. I don't know what I want to do, but whatever I'm
the
in,
second person as well.
Right? The third type is the one who doesn't know anything and just won't do anything, So don't be like the third person. Be like one or two. But I quoted you what Martin Luther Jr. said, that he should sweep streets. He's just a street sweeper, the one yang just sapu sampah. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here live a great street sweeper who did his job well. Be that person.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anif. Hannah?
All right, for the next question, if you could choose, would you work part-time while studying, or would you just focus on your studies?
Come again?
If you could choose, Would you work part-time while studying, or would you just focus on your studies?
Mm.
I think this one, because since you guys were scholarships recipient, I don't think working part time is an issue for both of you, right? But let's say if you did not receive any scholarship when you were studying, would you guys work part time when you guys are studying?
Mm. Elena,
Anif or Elena first?
ladies first, please.
Uh,
I think it really depends on you.
mhm.
You should not bite more than you can chew.
Yep.
It really depends on the person, because this is why time management is very important. Kalau you rasa boleh, do it, but make sure
Mm-mm.
benda-benda lain ni jangan tertinggal. If you feel like it's gonna make you tired, tak boleh pergi kelas sampai ponteng kelas, then
Yeah.
maybe it's not for you. So you really have to ask yourself, and pentingkan kesihatan diri fizikal dan mental before you want to decide to do something more than you are supposed to do.
Okay.
Completely
Anif?
agreed. I agree exactly what Elena said. And just to, I think, echo back what I said about start with why, you have to really
Yeah.
have a very strong why. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have any scholars, you don't have any scholarship, and the only money that is going to come from is from the work that you don't even feel tired. Trust me.
Yep.
If
True.
Yeah.
that is a very strong why of you getting that money, you know that
Mm-hmm.
hard-earned money will put you through school, put you through education. You don't even feel tired. You'll just do it like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is what I have to do, man. But I
Yep.
can't speak for those person because I'm just going to the ATM every other month and just withdraw money. So I don't have the luxury of saying that. But I think
Yeah lah.
we have to go back
Withdraw
to
your
the why.
money, your
Yeah.
scholarship money.
Hmm. Betul?
All right. Thank you, Anif. Betul. We need to know because just to share with you, I work part time when I was studying. When I did my degree, I work in KFC. There were actually reasons why I work part time because I'm a person yang tak boleh duduk diam kan. Rasa macam tak puas kalau duduk macam tu je. So that's why I work part time. All right. Question 5 and question 6 almost similar. Do you have to think hard or a lot when you were being interviewed by them? How to manage good mindset and your nervous feeling while being interviewed by big companies? Macam mana you handle your nervous? Anif ke Elina? Anif lah dulu.
Yeah.
Anif.
Take it away,
Yes.
Anif.
Um, nervousness will always be there.
Mhm.
I mentioned that I'm a public speaker. I'm
Mhm.
always nervous. I have
Mhm.
hyperhidrosis. What do you call that? Hypohidrosis, hyperhidrosis. My hands get
Tangan
sweaty.
berpeluh.
Yeah, my hands get sweaty. So whenever
Since you were in school, dari
since I was
sekolah.
born, I guess.
Yeah, since you were
So
born.
yeah, and I will get very nervous. I'll be shaky as well.
Mhm.
How to overcome that? One of the thing usually is of course to recite prayer. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa halul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. That is what
Mm.
Prophet Moses,
Mm.
Nabi Musa used when he wants to face
Mhm.
Fir'aun, right? You're not facing
Mm.
Fir'aun. Are you facing Fir'aun?
Yeah.
No. Prophet
No.
Moses is the one facing Fir'aun. And he's the greatest
Exactly.
man there. And you know
Mm-mm.
what? Prophet Moses is a stutter.
Yep.
He is the one that, what do you call a stutter? Dia apa?
Pioneer
Stuttering is
ke?
what?
Perantis. Starter,
Bukan,
gagap.
Gagap,
Gagap ke?
yeah. Prophet
Gagap.
Moses is a stutter.
Mhm.
Dia gagap.
Mm-mm.
Dia adalah seorang yang gagap. That is what Prophet Muhammad mentioned when he called his grandson Hussein on his lap. I'm switching to other story, but Prophet Moses is a stutter. So he read that prayer, and eventually Allah give him kind of like ease to speak to Firaun. That's the first one. Of course, I have
Mhm.
to make that as the first one. Secondly, you have to practice, practice and practice. Practice makes perfect. Like I mentioned,
Yeah.
I speak to myself always. If I go to the
Mhm.
toilet, I always speak to myself. Maybe I have a discussion with myself. I don't know. But you need to have that kind of statement that is already inside your head. You don't even have to think. Something that is naturally would come from you. It's involuntary. You have to
Mm.
create that kind of involuntary sentences, because what will you be facing. What are you facing, sorry, you will know what
Mhm.
are you facing. You know that those questions will come, and how you want to start answering, or how do you provide fillers between your sentences.
Mhm.
How do you want to say when you truly do not know a thing about something and you just want to throw your opinion.
Mhm.
So you need to create certain things and practice that, so
Yep.
that things will come when you know how to start. you know
Yep.
like the start the ball rolling. You always know how, the phrase, right? Start the ball rolling. You
Mhm.
have to start the ball
Yep.
rolling. Starting the ball rolling is hard, but when it rolls,
Mhm.
it gets easier. You see?
Yep. It
So
move
yeah, that would
easily.
be my answer lah.
Okay. Number.
All right.
Wait.
For the
Wait.
oh,
Let me continue with number 7 pula. I think number 7 is quite interesting because I don't know. Ada tak you guys tahu, ada tak orang OKU yang dapat beasiswa? Ada tak kawan-kawan yang orang kata apa, orang kelainan upaya ni dapat beasiswa?
Ada.
Ada
Memang ada. Yep.
Memang ada.
And memang ada. And if
Hmm.
you are if you falls in this category sekalipun,
Mhm.
it should not be any deterrent at all for you to try scholarships.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are in 2021. A lot of organizations, a lot of individuals out there has progressed in the times that we are in, especially with
Mhm.
post COVID and all. Memang ada orang okay dapat scholarship. Memang tak ada masalah.
Yeah, I know some as well. Like Alina mentioned, because if you don't take that person based on meritocracy means
Okay,
that
thank
if
you. Anif ada
he's
Anif dekat UTP?
dekat UTP, yeah, I could see some. And I don't, not in my batch lah, but I obviously you can see some. So
Yeah.
it's every selection is based on meritocracy, and if you're not being selected just because you're disabled,
Yeah.
so that actually is a big thing. I think our
Yeah.
PR expert here, Elena,
Mm-mm.
can use that in a sentence as well, right? So if you're
Yeah.
not selected just because of that, that is already what do you
Yep.
call that? Uh,
Mm,
Discrimination,
Discrimination? Maybe,
bias,
I don't know.
bias,
discrimination.
discrimination, right? So
Bias.
yeah, everything is now
Mhm.
meritocracy. Even you cannot work from home. Technology advancement actually help these people. If the thing is, you have to
Mm.
be you have to have a merit for you to be accepted. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anif. Proceed, Nana.
all right. For the next question, if we didn't get any scholarship, is it advisable to take PTPTN?
Mm.
Um,
Elena, you want to start?
Who?
you take first dulu lah, Nia.
Okay. All right. Sure. Again, I have to start back with
Anif.
why. You see,
Anif.
because I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek, and I always
Yeah.
follow his talks, his speeches, his books. I have two of his books, Infinite Game as well. So, right, not everyone is being privileged to obtain scholarship. If you think your why is strong enough for you to go pursue that and do change, it goes back to your why. If you do not have a strong why, even if you have
Mhm.
sponsors from your parents are rich, it won't do you any
Mhm.
good. You know? So my advice to you is find your why. Is it a strong why for
Mhm.
you to go for secondary, tertiary education? Is it strong? Is it strong enough for you to the need of you to have that scroll, the need for you to have that kind of like degree is it important for you to pursue your goals?
Yep.
If it is, then take whatever you can. PTPTN ke, pinjam
Yep.
sana, pinjam sini. I'm not condoning any along and things like that lah. But of course, if your why
As long
is
as
very
not
strong,
along lah.
as long as it's not along lah kan. So if your why is strong, you can survive anyhow. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
nowadays, with all the advent of technologies and stuff, entrepreneurs are without any degrees, guys.
Yeah.
People working in Google or Tesla now don't have any degrees. They don't have to go to tertiary education because they have the skills.
Mhm.
Their why of getting through all of that, getting all of that knowledge to do something better is stronger than having it to have a degree. You see, so
Mhm.
don't make. Of course, it's easy for me to say, right? Of course, it's easy for me to say,
Yeah.
but just to put it out there, if you have a strong why, nothing can stop you.
Betul? I agree with
Yep.
Hanif.
All right.
Very important for you to ask yourself what you want, but also whatever decision that you do. Me and Hanif, it's we are alhamdulillah, we had the rezeki for scholarship. But also whatever decision you do, tak ada masalah if you really, have no other means, dah habis try and habis baik. You want to take PTPTN, tak ada masalah. But also be responsible for whatever decision that you make. I'm not a big fan of, bila you dah, tak kisahlah you dah ambil PTPTN ke, you dah dapat scholarship ke, but then you don't do what you have to do, you don't pay it back, you don't come back, and serve the people that has helped you. So be responsible with the decisions that you take.
Okay,
Completely
thank
agree
you,
lah.
Elina.
Elena, just to add a little bit lah, because money can blind you, right? So I think
Betul.
we have a lot of examples, right? People receiving PTPTN money and go buy things that they don't need to impress
tak
people that they don't even know, right?
kita dengar tak sedap lah.
Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
be mindful of that lah. Yeah, be responsible. I think that's very good advice. I couldn't give anything better than that.
All right. So moving on to the next question.
All right, the next question. If you could describe the experience with one word, what would it be? Who wants to start first?
I think it's rewarding. I would put
Yep.
rewarding.
Yeah, I would put
Rewarding.
well, it's not a descriptor, but I would put alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Anif and Elina, ada satu soalan ni. There is one question macam tak puas hati. Why can't you get married while you are under a scholarship? So what's the rationale that you cannot get married when you are still under the contract?
Let me answer that first, Elena. I cannot speak on
Anif.
behalf of the
Okay,
company.
Anif.
Obviously, I cannot speak on behalf of the company. Please do not quote me.
Yeah, sure.
Talking on behalf of Petronas and things like that. But as a person who give you money, you want that person to fully focus, right? You give them scholarship to get the degree, right? So maybe they are thinking that if you get married, your focus will shift. Of course, you need to put that in clause. If you do not, if you condone, everyone will do matchmaking in university because you just graduated and now you're bound to get a job, and that is the perfect time for you to find soulmate. Everyone's going to find soulmate in university, right? So no one is focusing, and it's the responsibility of the company who gives you money to ensure that you are focused in your studying, in your study, and make sure that it's a fruitful investment lah, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, Elina.
yeah, I think marriage ni, I mean, take it from me who so I've known my husband for a long time. Even throughout after SSP, it was a series of long distance journey for us. But marriage is a big thing, marriage comes with a lot of responsibilities, and along the process, you're with your soulmate, and then mungkin dikurniakan rezeki, dapat zuriat. So it's a major thing, and here you are trying to finish your studies, trying to focus dengan stress, nak prepare for exam, nak pergi kelas, and also it's understandable, you know, when organizations they impose these clauses. It's really just to help you focus, and you know, just put your priorities right, because marriage is a huge responsibility. So you need to get your priorities right lah.
I agree, Elena.
All right, thank you, Anif and Ella. Coming up to the last question. Soalan ni pun I think it's quite hard lah. I don't know what to do if you have a certain course that you want to enroll, but there is no scholarship offered for it. You are interested in one course, but there is no company which offers scholarship. This is actually the last question. What to do? Who would like to start first, Anif or Elena? Elena.
Ladies first.
Elena.
I mean, I would echo Anif punya principle of why. You because when you know, bila kita tak tahu, and then you ask yourself and you decided this is what you want, but it just so happens some courses are slightly more unique in Malaysian education than others. So it's really unfortunate, you know. I understand there are courses, there are not many scholarships for certain courses, but that should not stop you, you know. I'm very sorry, I'm not sure about PTPTN and the loan structure, but I think it does not stop at certain courses. You boleh ambil PTPTN, you can take up loans, you can take up other form of educational assistance for the courses that you want. So it should not stop you. Even though there's no scholarship for it, there are other means to it.
Yep, I just don't want to sound like a broken record.
Okay.
I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. And thanks, Elena, for repeating that.
Yeah.
Of course, right? You can take study loans lah. There are study loans available, right, Elena?
Yes.
So study loans will enable you to pursue what you want to do lah. Again, if it's a strong why, you has a strong
just
why.
Go for it.
Yeah. You can survive anyhow.
Just go for it.
Yeah. Even you have to work and obtain that money to pay for your study, you would do it because the why is very strong, right?
Yeah.
Is that all questions that we have?
All right. I think I think that is all. I think those are all the questions that were asked in the live chat comment down there. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all of you, the viewers, and especially the panelists with us. Thank you very much, Anif. Thank you very much, Elena, for joining us. I very appreciate. This is actually the first time we have this kind of forum online. So I hope we actually plan to have more coming. And just to share with you, after I posted the posters, the promotional posters, there were quite numbers of friends who texted me, who called me, said that Gadot,
why is Anif there?
Nak bantu. Ya, tak adalah. Cakap Gadot, aku rasa aku pun berminat untuk join. I think that's a good feedback lah, that I received from our friends kan. So and I really hope that you guys, both of you, tak orang kata apa, tak serik lah untuk join kita lagi. Who knows, one day kita boleh panggil lagi Anif and Elena kan. Betul tak, Hana?
Betul.
Okay. Alright. Okay,
Obviously,
Anif,
we have
thank
many
you
more
very
talents
much.
lah.
Yeah,
We have many more
insyaAllah
talents
kita
available
akan-
for this gig. So I'm very
Betul.
honored. Thank you very much for this opportunity lah. Thank you to the school as well, pengetua and all of this organizing committee.
Yeah, I think pengetua is watching the live stream. Okay, thank you very much,
And if we
Anif
can
and
get
Elena.
if we can get feedback, I just want some feedback. If you can gather some, of course, I would appreciate constructive feedback. If I were to get invited to any other forum, if I'm being too frank or I'm saying things I shouldn't and things like that, so really appreciate comments. right?
I'll work for it. Okay, I let my SVG know, and then they will do something. They will get the feedbacks from the viewers. Thank you very much. All right, that is all for today. Thank you very much, Anif and Elina and Nurhana as well. Thank you for being with me. Okay, I think that is all for today. It's already 9:59, sorry, 10. I would like to end the session here. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Take care, guys. Stay safe.
All right.